have an entire blog post on this and a couple of videos on YouTube. But if you want me to dive into this specifically more at the end of our time here, I can answer specific questions. But let me give you some kind of show you how this framework works. We have impact, which is about a money, or you can replace money with volunteers. So if you want to have 200 volunteers show up at a beach cleanup day, then obviously impact over time. How many weekends would you have 200 people show up? Or how many weekends would you have $20,000 in donations? Or how many weekends? So you can think about it over time, and you can think about it over the objective or the goal that you're trying to accomplish. Now, when most people think of text messaging, they're automatically in their mind, they think of the first two. So the first one is transactional. That means you ordered an Uber or on Grubhub, or you've done something, you signed up somewhere, or your bank is sending you a text message to confirm a credit card charge. So some event has triggered some text message. This is probably the very first use case with text messaging, and why it's so effective is because organizations said, hey, if we're going to need to send a password reset, verification code, or if we're going to get confirmation that this credit card's charge is not fraudulent, we'll send you a free text message, because they know they can get your attention that way much quicker than through email, and even phone. If they try to call you, it'll go to voicemail. We screen our phone calls, don't we? So text message is the most immediate way from a transactional standpoint. So if you're waiting on your delivery of your groceries at your door, or your car, or your food, you're definitely familiar with transactional. Transactional has low impact on the fundraising spectrum, and it's not as effective over time as far as like that particular engagement of that individual, but it is highly effective, and it makes a lot of sense when you would want to send a transactional text message. I signed up for a walkathon with a customer the other day that's on our platform, and I got a text message, and it said, thank you for signing up. Here's the thing that we promised you. It was a playlist or something. It was something that I would want for the event, or here's a map. So like they can send you a thank you for signing up. We'll be in touch. Reply to this text message if you have any questions, John or Sam or whatever. So I'll show you those templates in a minute. Now, this is what I think most people think about immediately. Because I'm going from impact over time, I had to start with transaction. But solicitation by far is why most people feel icky about texting, because they've gotten marketing or unsolicited text messages or political text messages. But I'm telling you, they are highly effective in the short term. There's a reason why politicians use them, because they raise a lot of money, a ton of money. That's not an industry we worked in a bunch. We did a few smaller campaigns just to kind of dabble in it a bit. Too cyclical. They come in and they go too fast. I mean, I'm a long relationship kind of guy. I want to know my customers for many, many years and grow with them. So it wasn't a good market for us, but it also kind of felt yucky sending, text messages, even though people were, some of them had signed up for, most of them had in the cases that we worked with. But the solicitation is what most people think about right off the bat. Well, I don't want to, annoy my donors. I don't want to, spam my donors. And I totally get that. Don't start with solicitation. Start with transactional. Give them something helpful. Thank you for registering. Here's a link to your map to our event. Deliver it to your phone where you're going to need it on the day of. You don't have to say all of that, but that's exactly why you're doing it. I want the map on my phone. That's the thing I'm going to have in my pocket when I'm driving to the thing that you're putting on. So that's the process there. So solicitation, higher impact, but lower on engagement. So the next level up, which is effective over time to really nurture a list and keep a list active, is what we're talking about here. Over time, how do we keep somebody active and flip the switch to turn them back on, if we need to recapture their hearts and mind? It's informational. Like you signed up to know about how we're doing against our goal. You clearly care, or you cared at some point in time. So what's a good rhythm to get you some information about what we're doing? We have a series of events coming up. You can get that information. You can subscribe. Literally, I've seen nonprofits with founders that do a lot of writing and thought leadership. They'll deliver short little videos and inspirational quotes. And I mean, you're not delivering jokes of the day, right? I mean, maybe you are. It depends on your brand and kind of what you're doing. But the idea is like, what can I deliver on a regular, week, month, every 2 months? Like, what am I doing that's just keeping the list alive with information? I'm not just asking for donations all the time. I'm actually informing and empowering you as the supporter to be aware of what we're doing and how we're going about it with your time. Now, the most effective, hands down, at raising the most amount of money for the longest amount of time is what we at Rally Corp called conversational. Now, we often use the term like human-centric or conversational, because this is the crux. This is why we started our company. We wanted to facilitate conversations between organizations and their members, or organizations and their constituents, organizations and their supporters. We want to facilitate that conversation, but we're looking for very, very easy ways to do that efficiently, that's effective, that creates good return on that time and investment, money and time, but it creates really good returns on that. But it's just highly effective, so that I could literally rally 1,000 people tomorrow and stand them up to take some action, whether it's to write write the legislator, form a peaceful protest, whatever I want those folks to do. Which, by the way, we have organizations on our platform that is their sole objective, is to make sure they're constantly list building people that are passionate about certain conversations and certain things, so they can reactivate them over time, because they recognize if they want to have a fundraising event in the downtown in a park, a permitted fundraising event in a park, they're going to have very, very few people show up if they're just simply relying on one channel all the time, and that's email. So of course they're using email, but they're also using text messaging. But if we can add a degree of conversation to that, and I'll give you some examples of templates here in a minute that do that. So those are the 4 different types. We call that the SMS Impact Quadrant. You can actually download this PDF. That's there for you, but there's also a resource online. In fact, I think, yeah, you know what?